Good morning and welcome to the Media Speaks Live Saturday morning news show. I'm D. Lake for Prez, David Lake, joined this morning by Kyle Phillips, the technician on a mission. Kyle, you're back. So great to see you.
Great to see you, D. Lake. Great to be back. Feeling a little bit better.
Are you feeling better? I mean, I know you're still dealing with a lot of stuff, but everything's good?
Yeah, everything's peachy.
All right, you're a trooper, man. We're also joined by Sam I.B. DeGangi, Sam of the Correct Views and the Band Passing Time, Samuel.
Greetings, unsettled souls. Welcome to our Saturday edition.
Excellent, excellent. I had a few things in the headlines today. I wanted to just jump right into it. The Pope was here, guys. This past week, the Pope was here. Sam, you're probably the most outwardly religious person on the show. What were your feelings about the Pope's visit to the United States?
I didn't like him when he landed, and I absolutely detested him as he left.
Okay, great, Sam. And did you hear all about how I had to close Breitbart because it just freezes everything up on my system. I'll try to bring it back up. But there's been a lot of talk about one of the first things, the immigrant girl, the anchor baby here was that she breaks through security, and the Pope says, "Come over here, little girl, with your memorialized letter from a pro-immigration company that here we go." They had the whole thing. They had the whole staged illegal immigrant child photo op set up a year in advance. They had it set up a year in advance. Let me go to my screen share.
I wish he would have said to her, "I'll talk to you when I go to your country."
Yeah.
Wait,
Kyle, on Wednesday, as the Pope Mobile moved down the National Mall, 5-year-old Sophia Cruz somehow eluded security and reached the Pope himself. The security guard stopped young Sophie, but the Pope motioned her forward. She then hugged the Pope and handed the Pope a letter she purportedly wrote, an eloquent plea to stay in the United States with her two illegal immigrant parents. "I want to tell you that my heart is sad," Sophie told the media, having memorized her letter. "I would like to ask you to speak with the President and the Congress in legalizing my parents, because every day I am scared that one day they will take them away from me." Her father stood next to her, wearing a T-shirt that read, "Papa Rescata Dapa." The Pope should rescue President Obama's executive amnesty is how that translates. The entire photo op was a setup naturally.
So they just totally set this whole thing up with like a little girl running up to the Pope. It was like a street performance.
It was
there's pictures of it, yeah, along the street, and they bring the young girl up, and the Pope says, "Come here, come to the Pope Mobile." Now, I wanted to just cover that the Pope was here, and this article is on Breitbart, which is probably screwing everything up. 7 ways Pope Francis slapped conservatives in the United States, and it goes through the 7 ways. So everyone check out this article. The staged illegal immigrant child photo op is how it started. Of course, he gets into immigration, and let's just read the headlines. Comparing fighting illegal immigration to human rights abuses against Native Americans. Allowing President Obama to represent himself as an advocate of religious liberty. Ripping capitalism before Congress. He did that too, yeah. Until he saw all the different kinds of Oreos. Go ahead, Sam.
Could you look up where the "fuck the Pope" from Paul Joseph Watson, because he ends it saying "fuck the Pope," and his accent is absolutely classic. It needs to be a sample on the show. Fuck the Pope.
Okay. Yeah. Paul Joseph Watson's a good guy. I mean, I'm sure Kyle could do a good fuck the Pope if that's the way he felt. Kyle, how do you feel about the Pope having come to the U.S.? I posted last night on Facebook that you haven't been on recently. Is that, thanks for showing up. I was like, hey, Pope, why don't you just stay in your bubble car and go back to your maximum fortress?
Doesn't this Pope not use the bubble car? I thought that he doesn't use it.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's got a bubble car.
He does have one? How'd this girl run up to him then? How'd she get
It's open on the sides. It's got little doors on the sides.
Okay, so he came out of this bubble.
Yeah, he ignored the abortion issue mostly and talked about the death penalty.
don't know. I
And
kind of feel like the same way that I feel
same-sex
about the
marriage.
Pope. I feel about like I don't know, the government of like Czechoslovakia. Like it just doesn't really affect my life, you know? Like how
I
many
know.
people
And so when you come here and you start lecturing us about what about when he lectures us on immigration? Take a look at my screen share. We're looking at the wall around the Vatican City. And someone asked Donald Trump how long it took to build that wall.
Yeah, I never thought I didn't even think about making the correlation between like them having a giant wall around their city. That's pretty
Hmm.
funny. I don't know though,
Yeah,
it's like
and it's the hardest place to get into. Yeah, there's all these rules and regulations. You got to be married to like a guard or something. Like, but then he's going to come to America and lecture us about our southern border wall. You know?
I don't know, like the Vatican is kind of like CNN. Like you see people posting like articles from CNN and you hear stuff about the Vatican, but like how many people actually watch CNN? Like how many people are actually even Catholic anymore? Like I feel like it's a really I think the number is smaller than most people would think.
Mm, it's interesting.
Like I don't think people pay attention to the Vatican and what they do. I guess like
John Boehner does. John Boehner.
what did he say about it?
He started crying and he stepped down this week from the. He's gonna resign as he's resigning as Speaker of the House in the Congress. So he cried again. Like Kyle, I don't know. Have you ever seen a headline about John Boehner where he wasn't crying or playing golf with Obama? Those two things. I mean,
He's usually crying. Yeah, he's either
yeah.
crying or it's like somebody wanting to get rid of him. That's what you read.
I think it's really an emotional thing. Sam, can we hear more of your thoughts about the Pope's visit here? Besides, fuck the Pope.
He seems like a one world government pope. Everything that this pope is for is everything
Okay.
that the Bible has historically worried about. The church has, unfortunately, the Catholic Church has a history of funding. I mean, they helped the Nazis hide money, and I mean, granted, that was what 70 years ago. I understand that today is today, and they are putting on a different face today. But I don't see a different face when you have someone coming here claiming that man is warming the planet, saying that the planet has rights like a person. When you're clamoring for one world government, when in every movie or in everything you say has to do with death to capitalism, when capitalism has worked to free more people and better the lives of more Christians and non-Christians than any other form of government that's ever been established. The Pope is a huge, huge problem.
See, I
Hmm.
don't I don't take him that seriously, I guess is like where I differ. Like I don't think the Pope is necessarily like let's be real, like the Pope controls the Vatican like that's a joke. Like the Pope how old is
Yeah,
the guy? Like
it matters because they're again. I'm not saying whether or not this is a reflection of Christianity or not. I don't want to get into that rabbit hole. But to people who are Christian on paper, or to people who, yeah, I believe in God, to those people, they don't know. He is the voice of God, even though they're not Catholic. Well, yeah, I'm Christian. I buy Christmas presents. Those people are going to look at what he says as what Christian is, and
yeah.
and they're going to say, well, I can vote for Hillary. I mean, the Pope likes her. I'm not evil. And people who use that as a moral compass now have been told that their moral compass is Hillary Clinton. That is why I'm upset with the Pope.
Yeah, and that's fair, but I mean I think the number of people who listen to the Pope, I think it's really, really low. I mean, come on, like when like in the debates when like Mike Huckabee or what's his name Santorum or not Santorum Scott Walker like both those guys when they'd get like super Baptisty like that was like their worst moments in the debates like like hardcore Catholic people don't really exist like they used to so I don't know I just don't worry about the Pope I don't he's like a tabloid figure like you see the Pope talked about more in Globe than you do in the real news.
I hope so. I think he holds a lot of influence just because of the statute that he's given, the amount of importance that's given to what he says in terms of the way it's portrayed. Now, again, I think like you are, I think the Catholic Church has been on a downward spiral prior to the sex allegations, but more so afterwards. But I think a lot of people who, like I've always said, while I'm not Catholic, I have great respect for the priests that get up every day, live lives that are far more decent than any of us could ever do, and have people laughing about them behind their back about little kids. I'm sure that gets really old.
Well,
But,
there are good priests, for sure.
yeah, but there are, and I worry that those people might even be able to see through the Pope better than the weekend Christian, as I would call them. And I think this is going to legitimize a lot of really antithetical thoughts. The Pope said it was okay. Kind of like, to use completely another analogy, Skrillex. Came out, released all this music. He was coming out with his computer music, and then suddenly he works with Justin Bieber, and is saying, "No, you could still be cool and do that." No, you can't. Benny Benassi decided to work with Chris Brown. I'm sorry, you can't be cutting edge if you're working with Chris Brown. When you've got the Pope working with the one world government, that's the political version of the entertainment analogies.
But here's the question.
It legitimizes a lot of really bad things.
The curious question, though, is like, all right, let's say that the Pope was to say something that's completely against, like, what we would consider, like, the Christian rights, like, line of belief. Like, if the Pope just came out all of a sudden and said, we should legalize gay marriage, and I think everybody should smoke weed once a month, like, the Christian right would be like, fucking heavens to Betsy. Like, they wouldn't know what to do. I don't think that they would just go along with what the Pope said. Like, if he took a totally different stance, I think he just kind of backs up what they all already feel. You know?
I think if he would have said, though, for instance, I don't think pot's that bad of a drug. I think it helps relax people. I think there would be people then that would cast their older people or even younger conservative Christians would say, okay, you know what? The Pope said it's all right. My neighbor smokes it. It kind of legitimizes.
Yeah, I don't think the Pope addressed marijuana this week, Sam.
But I think the vast majority of
the Pope barely addressed ISIS.
The vast majority of Catholics would not agree with the Pope on that and would abandon the Pope, I think, if he came out and said that, because the majority of Catholics are 80 or 90 years old. Like, they're not gonna ditch like those like staunch, like hardcore, like set in stone beliefs that they have.
Doing it with abortion.
If the Pope came out and said, like, I believe in abortion in the cases of rape and incest, like, they would not get behind him on that. They'd probably kick him out. They'd de-pope him. I don't know what that's called.
I don't know if he hasn't been de-poped by now. I don't know how it could happen, because I'm serious. We have the biggest march of death occurring with Christians in ISIS right now that has ever been seen. The Pope talks about global warming. We have the biggest number of deaths and slaughter and persecution of Christians. There are more Christians dying now than died under the same time frame now, not the total. During the initial persecution, and I stress the word initial, of the Russians against the Christians. A lot of people don't know that Stalin killed as many Christians as Hitler did Jews. And we have ISIS now slaughtering that many Christians, or for that matter, that many non-Islamists. And he's out there, crickets. He's out there talking about the freaking the global warming. He's out there talking about illegal immigration.
Like
Meanwhile, the sword of Islam radical Islam, plows through the entire Christian population that's originally started the gospel in the Old Testament. In the beginning of the New Testament.
But he's just a figurehead. He's not going to talk about hard issues. He's going to say the things that he thinks are going to make the most people happy.
Other popes have come out and pissed off the gay people, and you know what? Other listeners, you can find my views on that everywhere. He's come out here and pissed off people, and now we got this guy that seems to be, everything is okay, everything is all right. There's many paths to heaven.
Oh.
Well, I'm sorry. If
Well,
Islam
yeah.
if Islam says that Jesus Christ is fake and Christianity says that he's not, well, I'm not saying you have to believe either one, but you can't tell me that both of them are the same because they're mutually exclusive.
All right. Well, there's headline news today that what's his name? Xi Jinping, the president of China, like he's teaming up with President Barack Obama and the Pope to flex their climate change authority on the whole planet. And, yeah, there's a lot of seemingly calls for Marxism and communism and a one world government and a one world authority and a one world religion and a one world currency. And, like, Pope, we really don't need you coming here to America to tell us about all that stuff. Or, I mean, what are you trying to do? Just expose yourself? But people get so caught up in the security theater and the whole thing. And, like, how much money did it cost us for the Pope to come here, ride around in his bubble mobile, fucking meet with the little illegal immigrant girl, or her parents are illegal immigrants, I mean, and all this other security and all this other roads being shut down. And I ended my post last night by saying, thanks for coming, Pope. Thanks for coming. Great.
I have a question for you, D. Like,
Obama's got horns behind him. It's like the Air Force sign. That was a stupid headline. But go ahead, Sam.
He lands on the Day of Atonement.
Yes, the Pope was here.
He lands on the Day of Atonement too. But D, like, here's my question for you, as a non-Catholic yourself too. When the Pope lands, historically, when the Pope speaks, even, aren't you supposed to? Well, that doesn't mean you have to do it, but don't you normally get up in the morning and hear him say something that, if you were to go ahead and put it into place, you could see, yeah, Pope's trying to make the world a better place. No, you shouldn't be having a lot of sex. Well, maybe you think he's full of it. But you expect to hear something where he tells you it's time
Dude, it's easy to be the Pope. I wear all white. I put on my little hat.
What's he land and say? You don't have to do anything. Just vote for people that'll give you higher taxes for your global warming. Go ahead and let everybody into your country that you want, that wants to come in. But you don't got to do anything.
I live in a fortress.
Easy believism is, I guess, what it's called.
I live in a city-state fortress.
But you see, Sam, like, my point is, like, all right, like, do you know what Bruce Springsteen's, like, political beliefs are on, like, government size and stuff?
Yes, he's a real leftist.
See, I don't, because I don't know anything about Bruce Springsteen. When he comes to Chicago, I don't even notice. So, like, when the Pope comes, I don't know. I don't know his political...
not a big fan. You're just not a big fan, right? I mean, you're, like, not a big fan. You have a sort of outside perspective. Your outside perspective, if it's similar to mine, it's you ride around in your bubble car, and then you go back to your city fortress, and thank you for coming. Okay,
yeah,
you came, talked before Congress. John Bonner cried. Did you guys hear that a congressman, a senator, I think, stole the Pope's water glass so that he could drink out of it, his wife could drink out of it, and then they sprinkled it on their grandkids.
Wait, what? Who did that?
It's into top news today. A congressman. He stole the Pope's water glass, his drinking glass, and then drank from it himself after people, like, put their fingers in it or something.
Why? What do you think was going to happen from that?
Congressman steals Pope's glass to sip remaining liquid with wife. Sprinkles rest on grandchildren.
Despite
Pope for end the thirst for power.
The Pope isn't magic. If he was magic, he'd be
they show him blessing kids in wheelchairs like the kid's going to get up and start walking. Holy water. Congressman steals Pope Francis's glass after White House address to sip remaining liquid with his wife, and then saves some to sprinkle on his grandchildren. Representative Bob Brady, a devout Catholic.
I can only imagine them drinking it like a
that doesn't bother me so much as the fact that they've somehow, they've somehow missed that the Catholic. I'm not Catholic. The Catholic Church isn't itself anymore, and it's somehow been.
Yeah, I thought I was on screen share.
It's somehow been utterly missed.
Is that real?
That's the congressman, Bob Brady.
He's pouring it in his wife's mouth. Does he not trust his wife? He thinks she's like, if she gets it, she's gonna chug it all
You
before
can't
he
touch
gets
it.
any.
Only he can touch it.
It's like, I love you, but don't touch it. I don't trust you not to drink all my Pope water.
That's him sharing. Here, I'm sharing.
That's so weird.
There's the Pope when he was originally touched it and sipped from it. Thief. I thought thou shalt not steal, but, I'm no expert.
Was anybody here?
Somebody else came in. He's like, here, I'll give you a little something too. Here you go.
Were
either of you the mouths of others rather than letting them hold the glass, and had his staff send out the photos. Here's him blessing everyone with the Pope's glass.
Does it address him not letting her hold it?
Were either of you raised Catholic?
That's his assistant, Colleen Carlos. I mean, that's. No, I'm Protestant. I was raised Methodist.
Yeah.
Okay, but like, what does he think that would happen from drinking the Pope water? Like, what does he think the benefit will be?
Well, he's a speaker. He's supposed to. Well, they believe that he is the spokesperson for God. He is the closest intermediary, which in my it's my way of thinking is an insult to Christ. But anyway, they believe that he's the closest thing to God that walks. The closest. He's the spokesperson. He's the mouthpiece of the body of Christ to them.
All right, well, Sam, then I got to ask you this very serious question. If all of those people who drink from that glass never thirst again, would you become a Catholic?
No, because I think that would be anytime that somebody starts preaching things that are the opposite of the Bible and starts bringing signs and wonders like that, then you would have me wondering very much whether or not something very bad. This Pope is much worse than we think he is at that point.
I would definitely give Catholicism a more serious look if none of those people.
That's where my Christianity would kick in, and I would begin to wonder if he's not one of the signs and wonders that we are absolutely supposed to avoid. I think if something like that happened, conventional Christians would immediately run from this Pope.
Like, if 1 year from today you hear that all those people never thirst again after drinking from that cup, would you reconsider Catholicism?
Oh, immediately. Yes, of course. What? Yeah.
Like, if they had, like...
all I have to do, you're telling me, all I have to do is steal a glass that the Pope touched and drank from, and then deliver it to my friends by not letting them touch the glass, only I touch the glass. Then they never thirst again? Then yes, I would like that to happen.
Dude, I smell a National Treasure sequel.
There's an Indian man. He's 76. He hasn't had food or water since he was 12. They've medically tested this guy for like days on end and stuff. That doesn't make me want to be a Hindu.
All right.
He says he's a Hindu, but did he ever drink from the Pope's glass?
That's what I mean. You don't want to be a Hindu.
That question remains unanswered.
Why would you want to be a Catholic if they were never?
It's a terrible theory. Did you guys hear this week on Thursday that a human stampede, killed more than 700 at Hajj pilgrimage in Mecca? And I'm set up to play some of this video.
How does that happen on just a walk? I don't get it. The place wasn't on fire. They only barely even tossed these pebbles with all the force of a 3-year-old. How the hell does this happen? You're just walking.
You have 2 million plus people trying to get to the wall to throw their stones, and when the sidewalks bottleneck, people get trampled, and over 700 die. This isn't the first time people have died. Here we go.
That did prompt a tightening of security because, of course, there are massive logistical and safety concerns for Saudi authorities who host these pilgrims as these millions descend on Mecca. And despite the billions of dollars spent on improving safety, some do still say that essential services in Mecca do remain dangerously inadequate. By way of example, a recent article in Foreign Policy magazine highlights that the
Wait, so, like, these people go to this place to, like, throw rocks off a bridge?
They throw rocks at a wall.
Okay.
They throw rocks at a wall, and, like, I have to show you that, I'm trying to...
How often do they do this? Like, once?
It's a pilgrimage, so, every, however many years, or every year or something. They try to make it better all the time, but there was another time that they did this, and 350 people were trampled and crushed to death.
You know what, though? I will say this, and I don't mean in terms of the people that died. That's not what I'm saying. But in terms of the government, when the displaced people who were legitimate Syrians trying to get away originally needed a place to stay, they said, no, you can't use the air-conditioned tents we have. It'll mess up our precious Hajj. And now look what happened to the quote-unquote precious Hajj. After what I would argue, the legitimate, before it was hijacked, the legitimate people that needed help, the first ones that could flee, were literally spit on by Saudi Arabia. So in terms of that, that's the logistical nightmare, not praising the death. That's the freaking nightmare that Saudi Arabia deserves, because when their people really needed help, Saudi Arabia was not there for them at all.
Okay, yeah, and when I heard the news, and then last night I was doing some research for today's show, it prompted me to look up on Wikipedia a list of human stampedes. I mean, how crazy is this human stampede?
What was the one in the nightclub in it was like the early 90s? You know what I'm talking about?
Okay, early 90s?
The Who, yeah. That was the 80s, The Who.
Was it the 80s when there was like a fire, but like everybody went for the front door?
Oh, no, that's a Great White.
Okay, yeah, well, there's one part in here that talks about an early one. Here we go. People were in December 24th, the day before Christmas, 1913, 73 people were dead from a human stampede. People were crushed to death, and the event is considered the source of the often cited legal limit of protected speech, i.e., that one may not falsely shout fire in a crowded theater. I mean, that comes from 1913, a human stampede that killed 73 people. In India, there was this human stampede that killed 500 to 800 people. A surging crowd broke through the barriers separating them from a procession of sadhus and holy men of various akhararas, resulting in a stampede. People were killed during the New Year panic and stampede at the Yahiko Shinto shrine in central Niigata. That happened in Japan. I mean, dude, you guys were talking about the 1990s. What was the one you were looking for?
Yeah, it was like in like a bar. There was like a bar, and it was like a band.
It was the Great White Fire, do you like? It was the Great White set off pyrotechnics that accidentally caught the top of the building on fire.
In 1990, there was a Hajj stampede. Okay, today's top headline is all about the Hajj stampede. Back in 1990, on July 2nd, 1,426 people were killed in a stampede inside a pedestrian tunnel, Al-Malahasim Tunnel, leading out from Mecca towards Mina, Saudi Arabia, where this just happened this week. Mm-hmm. So, back in 1990, almost 1,500 people were stampled and crushed and trampled and stampled and
stampled. I hate when they get stampled.
And not Jesus. I mean, it's I don't know who's doing this, and it's to throw rocks at a wall. I mean,
yeah.
Let me go back to my video.
They have to have like a bulldozer.
Watch when they're throwing the rocks at the wall. Look, you only need to throw one rock and keep moving. I see guys throwing 20 rocks and not getting out of the way. If we have 2 million people, look, you throw one rock, you keep it moving. One rock, keep it moving. One rock, keep it moving. Look at this. No, look, you already threw a rock. You threw. Come on, watch this guy. He just takes his time. Okay, no, this guy's smart. He threw one rock and he's leaving. This guy, though, watch this guy in the mask. 2, 3, 4. Come on, guy. Throw one and keep it moving.
Well, the question is, how many rocks did Muhammad throw at the devil, which is what that's supposed to be recreating. How many rocks did Muhammad throw at the devil? That seems to me what their optimal number of rocks would be.
If you throw more rocks, does that mean that like you love God more?
Could you love God more than Muhammad? So
It's
many
all about
questions.
how many rocks you throw, guys. And
I
then
don't know.
here's a scene of clothing and trampled bodies and stuff on my screen. I'm just going to mute it, but you can get a look at what I'm talking about. There's a bunch of trampled people. They've been trampled. Okay, I'm going to take the sound off, but there you can see some more trampled people and all the people that were paid to help save the people. And apparently this happens all the time, but, you know.
Dude, don't go to busy places. That's what I take away from it. Like, places where, like, you're going to be shoulder to shoulder, don't go there. All it takes is, like, one elephant or, like...
No, you know what though? I mean, a lot of it comes down to simple. Now, again, I'm not talking about panic situations. I understand I don't understand how people get trampled there, but I have been in mosh pits that have probably had 5, 6, 8,000 people in it. Really, really big mosh pits. Someone falls down, even in the middle. Everything stops. Pick the dude up immediately. Anytime where it's not a panic situation. What the hell is wrong with? How does that even happen? If it's not a panic situation, how? It's like animalism to me.
Well, it's because we act like when there's that many of us together, we turn into a swarm, like the same way birds do, you know? And people just, like, lose their shit, and it's like when everybody's running behind you and in front of you, you just start running too, you become a part of it. That's why you stay out of places where there's a lot of people. Don't go there.
Kyle, picture yourself trying to get to the holy wall to throw your stone, and under your feet you feel another human being.
Yeah, and how would you run anyway? You can't run over top of somebody. You're just gonna twist your fucking ankle and fall.
Try and get out, or do you try and...
In none of the video, no one is really running. But apparently they say the sidewalk's bottleneck, and people just so wanting to get through,
they just mush.
Trample other people. And I was asking last night, how many people does it take to trample 700 other people?
A lot.
Well, apparently there's almost 2 million people that need to go to Mecca on their pilgrimage. That, you know, I mean, thank goodness Malcolm X.
And again, I don't want gunfire. I don't want violence in someone's religious event. However, how the hell did nobody getting smashed have a gun or a knife or a taser? Nothing. Nobody there as they were getting trampled. Not one of them had any kind of weapon whatsoever.
It's Mecca.
Nothing. They didn't even have a bullwhip. Nothing. How does this happen?
So, like, all right, you schedule your pilgrimage. You spend like a few $1,000s for round trip tickets to Saudi Arabia.
You travel with no weaponry in the Middle East.
You're at the top. You're about to throw your stones. You're like 15 feet away, and people start getting trampled. Do you try and get to the exit, or like, reasonably, this was an expensive fucking pilgrimage. Like, are you gonna get your ass up there and throw your stones first? I'm going to try and throw my stones and then get out. Do you like you there?
The stone would be your only weapon. I guess nobody carries anything else.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, like, is this part of the pilgrimage?
Yes. Yeah.
You go to a certain corridor, and at that place, like, all the unholy are murdered.
According to their teaching, that is where Muhammad stood.
If you didn't survive the stampede, is it because you were unworthy? Is that part of this?
No. They believe
celebration for the amount of people trampled.
They believe that that's where Muhammad threw rocks at the devil.
I know. So we have to. So it was the throwing of the devil stones, or like ridding the evil. I get their philosophical ideology behind it, but when you have 2 million people all trying to attend an event, you have to have more. They spent billions of dollars with all the air-conditioned tents. Did you see those in the videos? The air-conditioned tents?
That's what I'm talking about, where I said they
spit
on the people of Syria.
PS. Big PS here, Sam. Saudi Arabia is taking 0 immigrants. They don't want more trampling. They have enough, apparently, with 2 million.
Saudi Arabia could have stopped a lot of the panic departure from Syria if they had wanted to. And a lot of people do think that America told them to stand down and not help. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do with people being trampled at a wall.
No, but they would have had a lot of these tents would have already been taken, and the original pilgrimage would have been a little bit smaller. And a lot of people that would have wanted to come to the Hajj wouldn't have. Why? So that other people who had their country destroyed could live. But no, they wouldn't do that.
No, here's my question, and it directly relates to the human stampede deaths, which I put in today's headlines. Why can't we keep the Hajj open year-round like Disneyland? Okay? Then you don't have 2 million people showing up on one day. You have you break it up over the course of the year, Kyle.
It has to happen.
It gets a chance to throw stones. It doesn't overcrowd the walkways and get people trampled.
It has to happen when Mohammed did it.
You could do like a beeper system like at Chili's or Outback Steakhouse where like you go, you sign in, you go back to your hotel or you and it vibrates when it's your turn to throw the stones. Right? Then you don't have as many people congesting it all at once. That makes total sense to me.
Yeah, it makes sense to me too. I don't know. Just keep it open year round. Why do we have to pilgrimage there, like just every so often? And why does this guy get to throw like 7 stones with his mask? I mean, come on, throw a stone and move it along, pal.
Fucking millionaire. Who sells the stones?
I think they just pick them up.
Where you if everybody's throwing stones, like they have to have a tractor that like moves the stones every like day, right?
What if you somebody else's stone that bounced back?
Those are all the air-conditioned tents that I was talking about.
If it bounces back like in skee-ball when it doesn't fall into one of the holes, do you get to throw it again? Does it count as a second one?
Somebody else get to throw your stone?
Hey, that's my stone! It counts! It counts!
I don't think they have to make a basket. All they have to do is actually just hit a wall. You know, it's not like it's not like only one guy can do it. Obviously, since there's 2 million people.
You know, one thing's for sure. I would imagine if I was the devil, I would stay far away from that wall in September.
Doesn't it annoy you that like it's a rule that you can't draw or like depict Muhammad in any way? Because all the stories you hear about him, like that would make a badass movie. Muhammad.
That'll get your facility shot up.
This summer, Muhammad played by Kyle Phillips.
I'm saying, like, if it was cool, like, if it wasn't against the rules of Islam and you could make a movie about him, that would be a pretty dope movie.
Kyle, if they ever make a movie, will you, on air, I know, will you promise, if they ever make a movie, will you play Muhammad?
I don't think I'm the right guy. I don't think I look like you. I'd be honored that I was asked.
Sorry, Spielberg. I tried.
You want like Aziz Ansari? I'm just kidding. No, I don't. I have no idea who would play Muhammad.
D-Lake with the beard. D-Lake, will you play Muhammad? Steven Spielberg wants to know if you'll play Muhammad, D-Lake.
Oh, jeez. We're going to need some additional CGI and makeup, but I'll give it a shot.
All right. Kyle.
For that Steven Spielberg money.
There goes your Oscar, Kyle. You blew it.
Kyle comes out the next year in Waterworld or something.
It all comes back to Waterworld.
It always does. But I don't know. Like, yeah, I feel like that story to me, I hear it as like, all right, like throwing rocks. Like, is that any more ridiculous than like Ash Wednesday, when you really think about it? Like Ash Wednesday sounds pretty ridiculous from an outside perspective. So
I don't mind that. If we start trampling people on Ash Wednesday, I'll be the first one out here wondering what the hell is going on.
Yeah, but yeah.
I said because it might be on that Wikipedia. I'd have to go back and look, but on Black Friday in America, there's been tramplings, but it's usually only like 1 or 2 people.
Oh, yeah.
It's 700 people, and it's like, how does that happen?
It makes, I've never understood it. I sometimes go, and I've mentioned this on past shows, I'm already up on Black Friday. I'm DJ. I'm awake. Right behind where the club is a Target. So a lot of times I'll duck in it because I'm already awake. And even in huge lines, people look sleepy. Even when you can't move, everybody's got pretty much a smile on their face, or at least, hey, we're all in this together kind of sleepy look. I don't know where these lunatic fights are coming from.
Oh, those my shoes. Those my shoes. You better put those down. Those my shoes. You never seen that on Black Friday?
Well, I don't go when the door first opens. Maybe that's why I'm missing it. The 10 computers that they had for $100 are already gone. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, I've never been one of those people at the very front
like
of the. I've never been one of those people at the very front of the glass, like pressed up against the glass, like fighting other people off with my elbows and stuff, and like, I'm in first, motherfuckers just grabbing TVs and like elbowing other. I don't know. I feel like it's a lot of. But
I know you ain't gonna touch that rechargeable Wiimote package. You know I'm looking at it.
You're gonna get your ass trampled up in this stuff.
Don't touch those rechargeable Wiimote batteries.
All the influx of Wii people, like.
It's all around the Wii.
I remember when I was a kid, there was like a Toys R Us trampling for like Cabbage Patch Kids.
Do you remember the movie that they made, Jingle All the Way, with Arnold Schwarzenegger about like the?
Yeah, there was like a trampling.
Yeah.
I mean, human stampedes throughout history are a pretty interesting thing, don't you think, guys?
Well, I wanted to. Does anybody listen?
If that came on the History Channel tonight, human stampedes, Sam, would you watch the show?
Oh, I'm a documentary freak. I'd be all over that.
Basically, you're saying and agreeing with me that I should work at like HistoryChannel.com or something like that.
No, wait. I'd be interested if I saw.
Like new job.
Are there gonna be in this documentary like interview segments with like very specific experts, like experts that are so specific that it's like that's not even a job. How do you exist?
I think there's a conspiracy because I think looking at right now,
Kyle. That can't be overstated.
They have like human stampologists, like.
You see all these people, and it looks like all these pathways are sort of like converging in one place. There's a place they don't tell you that, like, I don't know, if you did bad things, you just get murdered.
No, I can see
how come we don't actually see the stampede part on the thing? I mean, I don't see people falling down here.
Well, Kyle and D, like, wait, I just thought of something. Look at the map real quick. Okay, now think. If it was say a music festival, everybody'd be passing beer and joints back and forth. Can't do that. It's Mecca. Well, if it was an amusement park, everybody'd be hanging out and talking to the person beside them in line like you do when you're waiting 2 hours to ride a coaster. Oh, wait, you can't talk to any women. Oh, well, you can't look at that woman. You can't talk to that guy because he might be from a different neighborhood. So you stand there by yourself in rage is what happens.
Look at the pathways right there on my screen. And then there's all the dead bodies. I think when you get to that point, that's where they stack all the bodies. Those are probably people that were raped.
I want to go to this place like the next time that they're filming like an aerial view shot in just like bright orange. Like everybody's wearing the same outfit when they showed those aerial shots. Imagine just like bright neon green suit and top hat. You'd notice me.
Let's go back to the stacks of dead people. That's probably where you'd be. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm probably
there was the dead people. That fucking shit around here.
I mean, no fire, no bomb, not even bad weather. It's insane.
It's an engineering issue. That's what it is. It's unfortunate though that people die.
Engineering issue. So is there ever? I mean, is it because the pathway's bottleneck? That's what they were saying on CNN.
Well, yeah, because you think about it, like nobody's like specifically pushing over people, but like you're kind of pushing at the people in front of you, and people behind you are pushing. Like that goes far enough back that it like creates pressure. And so the people that are adding extra pressure don't even see what it's causing, 50, 60 feet ahead of them. So, I mean, it's not like people didn't even realize they were probably doing it until it was too late.
So you sound like an expert on stampedes and human stampedes.
Oh, like, I remember we had to learn about it when I took some fire science classes, and they talked about, like, bars, and, like, it's a big issue that people always go out the way they came in, even if there's a closer emergency exit. Like, in, like, an emergency, you just, like, kind of spaz out and go for where you came in from. Like, we had to, like, it was, like, a whole, like, day or two of the class was talking about how, like, yeah,
people tend to stampede when they're all trying to get out. I mean, yeah, a large portion on the list of human stampedes involve, like, People were killed at a football match attended by about 30,000 fans in a stadium with a capacity for 23,000. When brawls broke out, people panicked and, trying to escape, were crushed against riot-controlled fences in the melee. 40 people died, South Africa. Let's get to a United States one. 9 people died on December 28th, 1991, at an oversold charity basketball game, featuring rap stars. Oh, no.
Damn, they were there for the right reason.
People were killed and 29 others injured while entering an overcrowded gymnasium while funneling through a small stairwell area. So I guess when there's this, like, but you don't notice, like, people getting crushed and thrown to the fucking railing? You don't help them? You're just like, fuck it! Because there's so many people moving, right? Is that what you're saying, Kyle?
I don't think that you can help it. Like, I did this this adult Easter egg hunt for a radio station around Easter that, like, is right by my house, so we went. And the second they blew that whistle, there's people in front of you and behind you. Like, whether you stepped forward or not, like, you, like, fell into it. Like, you were just forced.
Everyone is moved.
Yeah, and it's like, think about it. All it takes is, like, 1 out of 10 people to not be calm for that shit to, like, get out of control really quick.
Makes sense. I mean, I don't know. It's just like a human stampede is so startling, but it happens, right?
Saying it's I think Kyle's saying it's not so much that you get run over as it is that it gets bottlenecked and you get smashed little by little.
Yeah. So, like, as it's happening, the people all the way in back who are causing it don't even realize it yet because, like, they're at the source of the pressure. They're not in, like, the center of it.
And they're just constantly getting squished and crushed until they can't take it anymore?
Yeah.
Kyle Phillips, you are the stampedologist.
But then at a point they fall down.
See why we missed him, people?
At least 700 people or more had to have stepped over those other 700 people, right? So, I mean, on your way to the Hajj, is it possible that you'll step over dead or dying bodies of people?
I think the best thing that you
can
can
do
do
the wall to throw the stone. I mean, is it that important?
As you're getting,
why can't we have it year round? Is my first question. And go ahead.
They need, like, as you're going through, I think the best thing you could do is just, like, try and maybe pull somebody up as you get, like, mushed past the people who are lower down.
I think the best thing I could do is have, like, spiked fucking shoulder pads and, like, arm fucking gear. And I'll be, like, they're all in robes, and I'm walking through that shit with, like, spikes and knives and shit. Like, dude, I am not getting fucking crushed. Like, people won't even get near me. They'll get poked. They're like, fuck, get away from me. I'll just have, like, a big, like, the shit will part like the Red Sea for me. I'll kind of throw my stones, and then I'll throw one stone, and I'll be like, thank you, evil, be gone. And then I'm out of there. And, like, I'll let everyone else come through after that. What's the big deal?
You know, I did hear, though, at the end.
Spinning razor blades and shit? Okay, go ahead.
But in the middle of the stampede, I hear a little girl got through with a rock.
She just had one rock and she got all the way through?
A little girl got through. It just walked right through it. Like she was the same little girl that got through the security.
Was she an illegal immigrant? Yeah, was she she got to the Pope and the wall at the Hajj? I mean, dude, who is this little girl? She's amazing.
The best thing that we could, like, what we really need to avoid things like this are grapple guns. If everybody had a grapple gun, like, you start getting mushed in a bottleneck, just Batman your shit out.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that would be a good idea, but not everyone could be Batman.
That's true.
A couple of them could have been, though, and they might have lived.
Grab a few people and pull yourself out.
Just one grappling gun can save, like, multiple lives, right?
Do you ever think about that? Just like, if I had a grapple gun, like, yeah, there's a good chance I'm going to walk around with a grapple gun in my belt for the rest of my life, and I'm never going to get a chance to use it. But you might be a fucking hero. You might be on the local news, guy who happened to have grapple gun and saved, like, little kid from getting hit by a bus.
You'll be on YouTube forever, as long as there's YouTube.
And they'll be interviewing you on the street, like, why do you have a grapple gun? And you just have something that you've been planning to say for years, something that sounds really cool, just like, never know when you might need to swing out of a situation. And they're just like, everybody watching at home is just like, yes, grapple guy.
Kyle just totally called it. I mean, if ever on YouTube there's a real-life guy with a real-life grapple gun saving someone in any type of situation, I don't care who he saves. If the grapple gun comes into the saving...
For Christmas, can we buy each other a grapple gun here at the Media Speaks?
Oh, man. Where do you get them?
Well, we used to have a sponsor that would have one, but they were terrible to us.
Like,
so. They're truly unrealistic devices. Like, you can't just have like a little gun like Batman. It needs to have like 2 prongs that it wraps around that kind of go inwards so that it can like release weightlessly, and then it needs like a lot of power. They're like big fucking things. Like, you
How much are they? I'm telling you.
Well, they apparently had something like that in the movie coming out, The Wire, where he walks, because they shot like a fucking to get to spread
like
the
a harpoon
between the 2 towers in the movie that's coming out, The Wire. It's the real story of the French guy. Can't remember his name. Pierre, maybe something.
Jason Gordon-Levitt.
Supposedly they don't really exist.
Gordon-Levitt, yeah.
They don't really exist. You can get a grappling hook on eBay, but grappling guns do not exist.
Yeah, well, they do, but it's pretty much a harpoon with a grapple on the end.
But what might be cool is if you had a magnet gun that had a retractable cable and like you save someone under a bridge, a metal bridge.
The thing, like even like after you get something like a magnet gun that can shoot like really lightweight, now you got to be able to put a motor in it that can like pull you up, and that's like a lot of weight too.
Yeah, I'll be like Batman. I'll be like, how much do you weigh? And she's like, oh, only 108 pounds. No, you weigh a little bit more than that.
That was my favorite Batman, by the way.
The first Batman.
Yep.
All right, great. Well, I mean, that sounds like a total segue into entertainment. Kyle, I mean, we haven't seen you for a while. You've been sick. So when you're laid up, have you been watching anything good? And what have you seen good that recently, lately? And you've been playing your video games, too, as well. Can you talk about that and what you've seen?
I've watched all like the shitty teen dystopian movies. Like I watched Divergent and Insurgent, and then I listened to the audiobook of the third one. Then I watched Maze Runner, and then I watched half of Maze Runner 2 and fell asleep.
So you really have been sick.
Huh?
I said, so you really have been sick. I mean, the only time I watched that is when I was totally laid up with, like, I couldn't move and shit. I'd be like, all right, I guess Insurgent or something.
What's Maze Runner?
Stupid. It's pretty much Divergent.
Like the Twilight of running in a maze.
Yeah, it's like Twilight, but there's a maze. Yeah, it's Divergent, but with a boy. They're all pretty much the same. And then I've been watching a ton of Star Trek Next Generation, lying in bed. Love me some Next Gen. Yeah, I've been listening to Howard Stern a little bit because we have XM in our new car. You know you're muted.
Yeah, I'm just looking up some Star Trek Next Generation. That's what you like.
Is there a new Star Trek movie coming out, D-Lake? Is that what you're telling us?
There is, though, right?
I'm sure they're doing a third one, aren't they? I haven't seen any trailer yet.
There's always a Star Trek movie.
There's already some casting going on.
Oh, we saw the trailer. Like, obviously, I'd already seen it online, but we saw the trailer for the new Star Wars at the drive-in theater when we were seeing. We watched Jaws. We saw Jaws and Twister at the drive-in.
You guys saw Jaws and Twister? Did you see?
I would so love to see Jaws again on the big screen. That must have been the bomb. Not to mention the big old tornado.
Yeah, it was only like $9 a person. We brought the truck and the dog.
Did they charge you for the dog?
No, dogs are free. They couldn't even see her. But yeah, we take like the mattress from the guest room and throw it in the bed of the truck.
Oh yeah, my wife and I have a fold-away bed. Literally, we were dropping a friend off at an apartment, and you ever see those beds? They're like about this wide, and then they unfold flat, and they're just springs.
Yeah, like hospital beds almost.
We put a whole bunch of blankets on those, and oh my God, was it comfortable. We slept in it in our van, when we would be on the road and you get someplace and you can't get a hotel room for another 4 or 5 hours because you got there at like 6 and check-in is 11 or 1. We would sleep in there, comfortable as can be, and literally just a frame. You just put some mattresses or a whole pile of blankets on it. You're good to go. And right now it's being used as a bed. I loaned it to a tenant in the house I just started to rent. She sleeps in a rock.
Nice. In entertainment this week, I watched the season premiere of Gotham, and thank you to Fox.com for streaming that live like the next day that I could watch through your stupid commercials and all that, but it was great. And I just wanted to note that it's it's TV-14, which is obviously a year older than PG-13, but they can show blood and blood dripping and massive amounts of blood and decapitated heads being held up while the guy makes the dead head's lips move and then throws the head in the sink and stuff. So they can have that on TV-14. Just wanted you to know. But did you guys get a look this week at Boston Sea Monster?
No, hey, that sounds like something I would be interested in.
A bro from Boston, a Boston bro sees a sea monster. Okay, it's kind of like this is great. Here we go.
I don't know what this is, but Jay says it's a fucking big sea turtle.
It's not a sea turtle. It's actually like a sunfish that comes to the surface to get birds to eat the barnacles off it. But we're privy to that. This guy, he doesn't know what the fuck he's looking at.
Look, baby whale. It's a baby fucking whale, man. Holy shit, we are witnessing a baby fucking whale right here, dude. Holy shit. That thing looks big, Jay. What is that thing? It looks hurt. I don't know. That thing looks hurt, Jay. Jay, that thing...
Now, Kyle, this video went viral on Facebook and on YouTube, and people have made a bunch of parodies, like combine this with Jaws and stuff. But, I mean, it's this guy's accent, and he's just like, Jay, bro, we gotta bring the fish into the... What is that thing?
That thing is hurt, bro.
It's hurt.
Holy shit, look at this fucking thing.
Whoa.
Oh, my God, what the fuck is that, bro? Jay, what the fuck is that? Oh, man, pull back up, Jay. Come on. Come on, bro. Pull back up, bro. We're seeing some shit we ain't never seen before. Oh, my God. That thing looks dead, man. We got to call the aquarium or something, dude.
Okay. So we got to call the aquarium or something. And Kyle, do you want just a little bit more? I'll skip forward. Here we go.
I love this guy. No, please don't skip. I love him.
He's gonna call we gotta call the aquarium or something. I mean, he repeats himself a lot, but it's fucking hilarious for over 5 minutes.
Holy shit! What the fuck is that? Oh man, Jay, it's dead, bro, or something. Oh my God, Jay! Pull right up next to that shit, Jay.
We probably shouldn't watch the whole thing so that people go and find it and give them the click.
Man.
Yeah, so I was gonna skip forward a little bit. Here we go. He just said we're going to be on the news.
Fish, buddy. Come on. Let's fucking hook that shit, and we'll be on the fucking news, man.
Okay. Congratulations, Boston bro that discovered a sea monster out there. We got to call the fucking aquarium or something. Jay, come on. We got to get him in the boat. The boot. I don't know. Not the best at impressions. Slap in the face, man. Sam, did you like that for my entertainment news?
I like him. I approve.
Yeah. Thumbs up.
I wonder if it was swimming oddly because it was in the Pacific Ocean or not. No, I'm kidding, obviously.
Played the clip at work. We were just laughing. It was a laugh riot. What else have you seen, Sam? What's good? Give everyone a recommendation right now. Music.
I watched a whole documentary on what was going to be the science news, so I'll make it 2 for 1. It was it said, check out Hubble's latest image, a shimmering space butterfly, and you can find clips of it online, and it's pretty wicked looking. The Hubble telescope has been the Earth's most reliable source for space porn over the past quarter century. I love how they worded that. The joint mission between NASA and ESA is still delivering the celestial money shots today. Case in point, the agency just released a photo of a striking iridescent space butterfly that has been unfurling its gaseous wings for more than a millennium. The aptly
Kyle just recently bought a telescope. He was telling me before the show, Sam. I just wanted to bring that into play. It looks like he might be running out to go grab his telescope. Kyle, were you running out to grab your telescope?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because Sam's talking about the Hubble telescope. And Sam, please continue with your report, and then let's get a look at that telescope, Kyle. Go ahead, guys.
Yes, it said the aptly named Twinjet Nebula, or PNMT9, if you're someone who wants to know the number on it to find it. It sits some 2,100 light years away. This image shows twin plumes of gas expanding outside from the central star system in the speeds of excess of 620,000 miles per hour. And it's basically the two expanding wings are the result of the wings having, it says, ejected much of its gaseous matter during the transformation into a white dwarf, while the other member of the system is still burning bright. And it's just really wicked looking. And you can find video of it online, and then of course how they've manipulated the data correctly so that they could get the actual what you would actually see if you were in space. I'm going to shut up because D-Like always has the best screen shares, and if I keep talking, he won't be able to see his screen. So D-Like, say something.
Oh, Kyle put me on screen there, and we're looking at some Hubble telescope images. Kyle, you recently got a telescope. Can we get a look at that? If you put yourself on the screen.
Yeah. I just bought this bad boy right here.
Whoa. Telescopes are looking more and more awesome. I mean, it's small, compact.
Yeah, this is the Celestron Cometron.
Does it have a camera as well as an eye scope thing, or what are those multiple?
No, it's got like the viewfinder, which shows you stuff small and like gets you like centered on stuff, and then like the big telescope lens. But I want to hook it up to my HD webcam so that like I can take like what you see through the little eye hole, but put it up on like a 40-inch TV.
Can you do that? How do you do that? That's pretty wicked.
That's
that sounds like no, Kyle. That sounds like putting a clock inside of a briefcase and taking it to school to me. I don't know if you should be tinkering with that sort of thing.
Dude, people do it online.
I don't want you to get arrested for building some kind of
crazy telescope device.
Yeah.
Dude, look up.
I wouldn't want you to invent anything awesome and get invited to the White House before me. Okay, that's basically what I'm trying to say.
Look up backyard observatory on Google Images.
Oh, there's a few sweet ones.
Dude, there's some dope ones. I kind of want to build one.
Kyle and I get into like the equivalent of the internet K-hole so often that it's not even funny.
Here we go.
He knows about the blue backyard coaster too. Kyle,
look at this telescope. Oh, this motherfucker's like, what?
Rolling deep.
You want a telescope?
That dude's like an astronomy gangster. Like,
oh, look at this place. They're like, oh yeah, sometimes we come out in the backyard and do some astronomy. Yeah, okay, thanks.
That dude's probably like a professor, and like he gets like young, like 19-year-old, like
all the time,
energetic about astronomy. He's like, come to my backyard observatory and have champagne.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. There's nothing about this wooden backyard astronomy thing. Oh, you enter through this little door like you're in The Hobbit or something. I don't know how this goes, but like, okay, great.
Can you put us a price on that deal? Like, how much would that be?
We got to find the creepiest one. Where it's just like, hey, come into my backyard observatory. No, not this one. This one looks nice. You have to climb the stairs to the observatory.
Some of them.
We have to. Anyone can get any view of space as we revolve around the sun and rotate 360 degrees.
Dude, look at that guy. Look at that guy in that picture. If you like went to like your like girlfriend or whatever like wants you to go like she's friends with his wife and you go to like a dinner party at his house and you're just like this guy's a dork. You're like, what do you do for a job? He's just like something like really boring like an accountant or something. And he's like, but I built this ridiculous telescope in my backyard observatory. You're like, now we're getting somewhere, Gus. Or Tony Hallis. Now we're getting.
Look at that telescope, Kyle. Is that like a big rig truck? Is he compensating for a small penis, or what do you think?
No, I think he's just like, this is what I do.
That guy's got a huge penis. Look at his telescope. Jesus. Hey, look at my cock through this telescope, babe, real quick. It's got a microscope too. Like fucking.
Do you think there's women who like...
So, Kyle, you agree with me that awesome backyard observatories are babe magnets. Is that true?
I think so, yeah, definitely.
They look like hot tub heads.
You know how much this guy tells his story, Tony Hollis, in his backyard observatory where he's banged over 400 women? What? And... astrophysics major, and he's got a super SBIG STL $110,000 million camera with remote guide head. I don't know, something like that.
You're a cute 37-year-old woman. You're at the bar, and this guy buys you a drink, and he's just like, I have the biggest home telescope in all of Nebraska. I have the biggest one.
Hey, do you like telescopes? Do you like the universe?
Like, all right, we're getting somewhere. Tell me about your big-ass telescope.
What do you drive? An observatory?
No, Kyle, I got it. What's your sign? Virgo. You ever seen Virgo in a backyard telescope?
Oh, Samuel, so smooth.
What do you drive to answer that question, D? He drives the car from Honey, We Blew Up the Baby. Do you remember the van? With all the solar panels and shit all over it.
I don't remember it.
That one that you looked at, the first one, I'm pretty sure that's where Luke Skywalker grew up. Honey, we blew up the van. That might get it. There you go.
Which one is it? This one?
The Pope.
No, it was like the third image. Yeah, the first and third. Great movie.
Honey, I blew up the kids. The van. Yeah. I saw Ant-Man fighting the Falcon on a clip, and I still haven't seen the movie, but that clip looked pretty wicked awesome.
Maybe I'll watch that tonight, Ant-Man. Dude, did you know that Paul Rudd has never aged?
Yeah, yeah. But that stupid, that show on Netflix, the Wet Hot American Summer,
mm-hmm.
The whole joke is that no one is aged, but they're all older.
But Paul Rudd really does look like the same.
The running theme, though, is they're all playing the same characters like 10 years later. A girl goes into the bathroom, she has her period, she comes out, she's an adult woman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, that's the gag they're going with. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, but that's what got me thinking about it, because that movie is 15 years old, and the new one, Paul Rudd looked like, all of them look obviously older, except Paul Rudd. If you look up Paul Rudd in Clueless and Paul Rudd in Ant-Man, it's the same exact guy. He's a vampire.
When you see Paul Rudd, you're all like,
come on, man, let's get that thing. I don't know what the fuck it is, man. What is that thing? It needs help. Whatever it is, dude, it's dying.
Is that Paul Rudd? Is that Paul in the water?
Holy shit.
Holy shit.
Will you look at this shit? Oh my god, Jay. Jay, look at this fucking thing. Jay, let's get it. Yeah, he's dying. Let's get it. Oh man, Jay, that is that's a tuna, bro. No, that's a tuna or something. Jay, look at it. Come on. Like a flounder with the fins. Oh.
Like I said before,
his friends are like, dude, just calm down.
Yeah, they're like, bro, dude, come on. He's like, no, we gotta hook it and bring it into the boat here.
That's awesome. He's like my new hero. He's awesome.
What else do we have, gentlemen?
We don't have any gentlemen here.
Oh, sorry, I just had a coughing fit.
No, I'm like, I'm trying to yield the floor.
I'll tell you a little bit of good news. I ran over this today. Reason.com. Top Massachusetts court. Cops can't stop a car because it smells like marijuana. I was very happy to hear this. And
Yeah. Damn it, Sam. That's in the headlines. Marijuana smells. I meant to get to that.
Check this out. Massachusetts voters approved Question 2, a ballot initiative that decriminalized possession of an ounce or less of marijuana, making it a civil offense punishable by a $100 fine. 3 years later, the Supreme Court ruled that in light of Question 2, the smell of burnt marijuana was not sufficient justification for ordering a motorist out of his car during a traffic stop. Last year, the court extended the logic of that decision, saying a marijuana odor by itself does not justify a car search, since a search must be based on probable cause to believe that evidence of a crime has been discovered. And 1 ounce or less of marijuana, a civil offense, smells the same as more than an ounce, which would be a misdemeanor. That is absolutely wonderful, great news. It is so good to see, no matter which side of the pot issue you're on, is that it's wonderful, I think, to see the government having to respect the Fourth Amendment a little bit, even if it was in such a roundabout way as using legalese to do it. It's wonderful.
I was just listening to a few nights ago an episode of Joe Rogan's podcast. He had this doctor on. I forget his name. He's like a doctor in a university.
Frankenstein.
Huh?
Frankenstein. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I forget his name, but like he was talking about like all illicit drugs, and he was talking about if we treated them all like legally and had them like administered properly. Like he referred to like there's this like African country where a good percentage of their population, it's like a third of their people are addicted to heroin, but they just give it to them like they have a clinic. These people go in the morning and they go in on like their lunch break, but aside from that, they're totally fine. Like they're working, like they're supporting their families and stuff. And his thing is like he's not like saying go do heroin, but he's saying when you don't treat it like something that outcasts you from society, people continue to be a part of society. And like it's not as detrimental as like we make it out to be. And we get the ideas about like illicit drugs that we do from like movies, because the movie industry wants to make shit more dramatic to sell movies, and then we get the idea that shit
make marijuana look all cool and like you get all just kicked back.
Yeah, like
kind of dumb shit.
Well, do you remember like when you were a little kid and you'd watch a movie like I remember when I was little, that 70s show came out when I was probably in like early.
Yeah, when I was little, Cheech and Chong came out. What?
Yeah, so like in movies like that, they'll do stuff like somebody will be really high and they're like looking at somebody talking like the wall is moving behind them and stuff like that, and like you thought like that's what marijuana does, but no, that's just the movie industry like making something more dramatic. But the difference is most people by the time they're like 25, 30, let's say, like have smoked marijuana at least once.
I mean,
and so that's not true. People never do heroin.
Name a good college in the country that's not, that's known for not having marijuana. Anyways, when I just put in marijuana smells, I actually remember when we covered this guy with his olfactory invention that he can use a nasal ranger smelloscope to help crack down on pot smokers. Like he can use this to smell it. Look, pal, just walk through Ocean Beach. You're not going to need a big smell detector megaphone on your nose.
Isn't the point kind of
the fucking air?
Like
he looks like a robotic Pinocchio.
If you can't smell it without like a cybernetically enhanced nose, then you're not really hurting it.
Without that, you will not be able to smell the marijuana. No, but with that,
what's the problem?
Marijuana from miles away. You have like a dog nose or something.
He looks absolutely ridiculous. That is that right? You know what?
That's what.
D-like.
No, Sam. To your article, that's what cops are going to use on the side of the road now instead of speed detectors. They're going to use weed smelling detectors.
We need to put that on the as the thumbnail. There's the face of modern day freedom in America.
My
Right there
question-
it is.
Driving past it over 80 miles per hour.
So when you're using like the smelloscope, like you're smelling it, it's not like it can enhance the smell. Like you smell it more or less. Like it has a readout, right? And
What
it
happens
tells
if
you.
you
Like,
fart by him?
is it at all necessary for it to inhale through your nose? Like, couldn't it just have a motor that pulls air in? Do you have to inhale through your nose on it? Like, why would you design it like that?
I mean, a regular skunk could throw off your whole thing if someone farts like Sam said. I mean,
Kyle has a point. Kyle has a point. Why doesn't the machine just tell you if it smells it? Why do you actually have to smell it?
Yeah, because it's not like it's enhancing the smell as it comes to you. It's not like a real like cybernetic nose. It just gives you a readout of like THC in the air.
I think it is. I mean, I think you have to. Well,
you just as easily have a motor in it that does the same thing. You don't have to put it to your
we
nose.
covered it before. Now I'm like,
I can't. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. That's the face of modern freedom in America, right there.
Like, you get what I'm saying, though. Sam gets it. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why does it have to go up to your nose? You could just as easily put a little compressor motor in there. You hold it down for a second. But no, the inventor's like, you'll smell it in. That's how you get the air to move through it.
okay, listen. In Denver, Colorado, when a complaint is filed, but this article is actually from
I have to mute because I can't quit.
2011, I guess, or wait, yeah, 2013. In 2013, in Denver, when a complaint is filed about marijuana odor in an area, the Department of Public Health's Ben Siller is called out with his field olfactometer to sniff around and see if the law has been broken. Siller told 7 News that he's mostly called out to smell marijuana odor complaints from businesses that grow marijuana, not from marijuana smokers enjoying some legal weed in the privacy of their own homes. Siller, who has been investigating odor complaints for 26 years, uses the department's nasal ranger device that we see pictured above to determine how strong the odor is and if a violation has occurred, which it turns out is rare. The Denver Post reports that the odor has to reach a level of 8 to 1 or greater, which can mean a fine of up to $2,000, but that hasn't happened since 1994. So maybe this guy should get an invite to the White House for such a great invention. Welcome, Ed. It's clock bomb.
How much did it cost to invent that versus how much revenue was made? $2,000 once in 1994? Like, it seems like a stern money. Like,
I want a nososcope for Christmas. How many Doji coins do you need to get a nososcope?
a nososcope? I'm not sure. I don't know if you can buy a nososcope.
What's it called, D? Like, I'm sorry, it's not the nososcope.
I'm calling it the nososcope.
Holy shit! Oh my god, man, we are seeing some shit we ain't never seen before.
It's called the olfactorometer because your olfactory is like you're smelling.
Wait.
The proboscis of power. I love it.
That are smell blind. I've known people that have no olfactory. They're smell blind.
Yeah, I know someone like that.
Olfactorometer.
Their olfactory isn't working. They're unemployed at the factory.
Did you guys see the blind kid getting hit by another kid, and then another kid came in and beat up the kid that hit the blind kid?
No. See, I guess D-Like's been down the internet K-hole, too.
Yeah.
I hope it's as good as the last one, because I was a big fan of that one.
Where do I buy one of these? Alibaba.com? Really?
You're going to get a nososcope?
I'm trying to find where I buy one. Alright, I got it spelled right. Maybe if I look... Do you think Amazon might have them?
Everyone's going to tune out if we look up the nososcope. D-Like, what do you got?
Trying here, but it's not playing.
You broke the internet.
It's my big butt. Kyle, what do you got? Hold on. I'm trying to find this.
I'm searching on Amazon. My computer's slow when Google Hangouts are on. No, just a ton of fucking books. I can't smell a scope with a book.
Oh, they want you to get a scratch and sniff book or something.
No, it's like books about how smelling works. What are you watching?
I'm trying to get through a commercial. But the commercial is like longer than the fucking video. Is this the video? Oh, this is just two goonbags talking about it. I want to see the fucking...
Alright, we should end this. I need to go.
Alright, anyways, some bully kid tried to punch a blind kid. And then his friend came to the rescue. Here we go.
Fuck out of here. Hey, Alright, come here.
You good, Austin? Fuck good, Cody. That's the one kid saving the blind kid from the other guy. Got him.
Should have beat him with a nososcope too.
Social justice in action, but now they're trying to smell the kids for marijuana. So that kid almost died in the fucking stampede. And then when they picked him up on the concrete, it said the Pope was here. So that covers all today's headlines. I am D-Leg from Prez, themediaspeaks.com. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on today's show. Guys, where can people find us? Sam?
You can find us at themediaspeaks.com. You can also go to the Correct Views on youtube.com. I'm on Tumblr, where nobody else is on, and I found a place called Vocalize, and even less people than Nobody is there. So make sure you find me. Me and Alex Jones are the only two people also on Planet.Infowars. Kyle?
You can find me on the internet, themediaspeaks.com. I'm not really using Facebook that much anymore. You can find me on YouTube's. Aside from that, I might go to AOL Instant Messenger. You can find me XOXO Kyle XOXO69 on AOL Instant Messenger.
Oh, that's great. You can look for me at small x, big X, small x, D-Leg for Prez and Love, small x, big X, small x on AOL Instant Messenger. So maybe we could talk on there. I'll emoticon you, some little kitty cats, and also smiley faces.
Yeah, you can see my what's it called? My icon. It's a GIF image that changes color and it says a quote.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah, my GIF image is just like sparkles and rainbows.
Yeah, that's how you're
I
supposed
wanted
to do
to
it.
add more, but I only wanted it to be so many frames in the animation.
Pour juice on your chin.
I don't know what that means.